Like, even just coming here today, I was like, wow, the Kimmel Show has been back, and the structure, it's like this place is such energy. And you run into people, and I still find myself getting starstruck and fanboying out all the time because it's just incredible that we
You're
get
talking
to
about
do
Guillermo, I assume, when you came in, and there was obviously
I still think
there.
he's a liar. I think you're onto something. No.
Well,
only the liar says he's not a liar, G.
Sorry, but no.
we're going to take a break. We're going to take a look at a clip from the movie. If you haven't seen it yet, you should. It's called Oppenheimer. Robert Downey Jr. is with us. We'll be right back.
Our B-29s over the North Pacific has detected radiation.
Do we have the filter papers?
There's no doubt what this is.
White House says there's a doubt.
Wishful thinking, I'm afraid.
Are those the long-range detection filter papers?
It's an atomic test.
The Russians have a bomb. We're supposed to be years ahead of them, but so what were you guys doing at Los Alamos? Wasn't security tight?
That is Oppenheimer, starring Robert Downey Jr., which is coming back to theaters and IMAX this month. Nominated for Best Picture. You're nominated. Oh, we'll be nominated. I'm jumping ahead of myself, maybe.
Don't jinx me, Jimmy!
Yeah, I know. As host of the show, it's probably inappropriate for me to do that, but I think it's safe to say, well, first of all, your performance is excellent in the movie, and secondly, the movie itself is excellent. Your character is a real person, deceased now. Louis Strauss is how you pronounce his name. I pronounced it wrong earlier. He was I have to tell you, he reminds me a little bit in some ways, not him personally, but the idea that there would be backlash against Oppenheimer after he saved us from the Nazis, basically, it reminds me in a way of the backlash like Dr. Fauci has received in some ways.
That is not inaccurate at all. But then again, if you look at the heated nature of the times, and there was people who just had acrimony towards each other because they had felt blown off in some way. And one of the big hearts of the story in Oppenheimer is that there's this moment between him and Einstein, between Oppenheimer and Einstein, that Strauss wants to be part of because he's like supporting them and at the Institute for Advanced Study, and they just completely just disregard his existence. And you see the seeds of discontent being born. And I was like, what can I relate this to? And I was like, remember in the 80s when you go up to these velvet ropes at the clubs and you hadn't really broken yet, and you'd see Scott Baio just get out of a limousine and walk right by you, and you'd be like, Scott, remember when he'd be like, just doesn't even recognize you whenever you're like, I will exact my revenge on Scott Baio.
Was that for real? Is that really something you thought about?
Any and every time that any of us have felt like we were on the outside looking in, or that someone had been this slight, or you'd been blown off, or it's that weird thing like where you think someone's waving at you and you wave back and then you realize and you go, oh my God, this is so humiliating. But this was at a national level, and Louis Strauss was head of the Atomic Energy Commission, and there was reason for him to believe that Oppenheimer was a little bit too left-leaning and shouldn't be trusted to have a security clearance, but really he just wanted to destroy him. And Chris Nolan, who we were talking about, is just one of the great directors in the history of film. He said, it's like Amadeus. This time you're not Mozart. Killian's playing Mozart. He's Oppenheimer. You're Salieri.